When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, want to see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. Let's run over a few things before we continue our story. Prior to I made this fanfiction, I put a poll on my community tab on the title of this story. It was Master Pink who came up with the title. I kind of forgot to mention that on part 0. My bad. It just totally slipped my mind. And this will be the only fan fiction I'll make into a harem. So this is my one harem that I will ever do on this channel. So I'm not really fond of harems, so it takes away from the story. So that's just my own personal opinion on the matter. But yes, this will be my first harem on the channel. I mean, I've tried it before, but I'm gonna actually do it on this one. So just to let you guys know. The harem won't be the main focus of the story, so I want to get that out of the way first. Right now, the only members are going to be Melina, Toga, and Lady Nagant. That's so far I've planned. I might add a couple more. It really all depends on the story. So let's get right into this thing. So we're going to continue where we last left off. After recruiting a bunch of humans, or witches, and female demons, Toga informed Izuku of one of her friends that is interested in joining up, a werewolf named Dobby, that likes to hang out at the local werewolf bar. After a short walk, once he left the base, Izuku followed the address on the piece of paper that has the location of the werewolf bar. Luckily for him, it wasn't too far away. So this must be the bar. How quaint. The wolf's den. Once Izuku entered the wolf's den, all the werewolves and lycans turned their head towards Izuku. Of course, Izuku being a high-class devil, he completely ignored all the stares and the rude comments he got when he walked past them, up to the bartender at the bar, counter, where he sat down on a bar stool. Scotch, please. The lycan female bartender gives him one glance over, then put a bright smile on her face. Sure thing, hon. So, what brings a devil to the wolf's den? We don't get a lot of devils out here. I think the last time I saw a devil walk in this place was about 5, maybe 6 years ago. Meeting someone. He comes here frequently. He's a werewolf that goes by Dobby. I know who you're talking about. He usually comes in at 6 every day. Izuku put some money to pay for the scotch and for the information, and a little extra for a tip. As the licensed bartender pocketed the money with a smile on her face. Normally, when a non-werewolf comes into wolf den, they're, as she explains this to him basically, usually they cause a fuss over it, but it seems like you have the rest of the wolves in here terrified. I don't mind, you're keeping them well behaved. A lot less of a headache for me. I have that effect on people. This one's on the house. As she placed a glass of scotch in front of Izuku, after she knows he drunk his first one. So I take it you're a new arrival from hell? Not a new arrival, but I haven't been on Earth in a while. I'm being rude. My name's Izuku. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Penny. You're you're a quite polite for a devil. And I've met many devils in my time. It is true, most devils believe they are the superior species, but there's no reason to be rude. Manners could go a long way, so there's no unnecessary misunderstandings. I know way too well how my kin act towards other species. It's troubling sometimes, causes problems. Don't get me wrong, I'm proud that I'm a demon. It's true, demons are far more superior than humans, but humans have their own charm, I suppose. And when it comes to your kin, I'm more than willing to admit that I haven't had a very good experience in the past. But you don't seem to be that bad. You're my favorite customer. Unlike these savages, you have manners. The rest of the werewolves in the bar were about to protest until they saw Penny raise her eyebrow at them. As everyone shut up and sat down. That's what I thought. You know what? Just read that. You know what I do. So what do you do back home? Oh, I used to run the Crossroad Demons, but I switched positions about 20 years ago. I trained bloodhounds and raised them. Not bloodhounds, sorry. Hellhounds. So you're a dog person. Nice to know. As she's just teasing him because he's surrounded in a room filled with werewolves and lichens. I guess I am then. But seriously, I have a feeling you're not on Earth for a simple vacation. If you cause trouble, please don't cause trouble near my bar. Of course, Penny. If I start trouble, I'll start. Sorry, give me a second. Of course, Penny. If I start trouble, and there's no way around it, I am going to start trouble. But I'll stay clear of this neighborhood when I do so. As the door to the bar bursts open, as several hunters come piling in, shooting their crossbows, Penny sees all the arrows that were pointed at the patrons float in the middle of the air, as several arrows that were shot towards her float in front of her. Penny was about to react, but she saw that coming, so basically what I was about to say. I don't appreciate you trying to kill the woman that's been serving me alcohol for the past couple hours. Humans, you lot have no manners. Let me see. Ancient weaponry, silver arrows. Oh, you must be werewolf hunters. You guys have not evolved over the years. Still fanatic as always. But I do believe these belong to you, as Ezekiel shoots the arrows back with his telekinesis, killing all of them, except one of them, oh, leaving one of them alive, basically. As all the arrows pass through the rest of them in their skull, killing them instantly. As he pulled the man towards him with his telekinesis, as he has his hand wrapped around his throat. Izuku slammed his knee into the man's stomach, then released him, then grabbed him by the hair. Here, this should cover the damages. Doesn't look like he's going to show up today. I'm going to take this one outside. Me and him need to have a conversation. As he drags out the human hunter by the hair out of the bar, through the broken door. He threw the human in the alleyway. Then he pinned him up by his foot against his chest, against the wall, keeping his foot firmly on his chest, slightly increasing the pressure second by second. Now tell me, what are you little hunters up to? You insects can't be that stupid to openly attack a werewolf bar in public, like the way you did. Start talking, maggot. You actually sat there. You actually thought you would kill the bartender and kill the patrons and nothing was going to happen? Not on my watch. Where's your base of operation, human? As his green eyes start to glow bright, I can't tell you, and you can't make me talk. You get nothing from me, freak. Izuku has a smirk on his face. Who said anything about you talking, human? I don't need you to talk to get the information. As Izuku placed his hand over the human's face, forcibly breaking into his mind, then forcibly accessing his memories until he got to information what he was looking for. Then ripped the head off the human and tossed it aside, and made his way out of the alleyway towards his little group of hunters or setting shop. As they've been setting shop in a very old factory, it was pretty close to the bar, so he didn't have to walk too far away to get to it. As he did pick up the severed head and carry it in his hand by grabbing the hair of it still in his hands, walking. He instantly killed the two hunters that were guarding the front entrance by exploding them from the inside out. There's nothing left but a red paste, an occasional eyeball. Izuku kicked the door open, where there's a large group of hunters with their leader, including their so-called leader, as he throws a severed head at their feet. Now, humans, I'm normally a laid-back guy. I know we don't interfere in human affairs. At least I try not to. But when you blazingly interrupt my good evening, we have a problem. And I don't really care why you try to kill the werewolves in that bar, including the very nice bartender. I'm going to have to kill you all. Now, I'm a nice guy, so I'll allow you to pray to whatever deity you worship. When you're done, the slaughter will begin. As the humans watch Izuku start to transform, smoke begins to develop him. Black smoke. Is when the black smoke finally disappeared, or burst away from Izuku. They stare at a taller, much older looking Izuku with pure white hair, with pale skin, as his eyes are pitch black with white pupils, as his double horns switch positions, became more refined, as his ears are a lot more pointed, like knives, as you see his teeth are razor sharp, as you see his hands are pure black that resembles a humanoid claws for four hands, with a long devil tail, black devil tail. It's been so long since I've been in my true form. Now time's up. Who wants to die first? As we cut to outside, as you can hear gunshot screams that about lasted about 20 minutes, then pure silence. As you see the blood begin to leak from the other side of the door underneath it, as the blood starts to leak out the front door, basically. As you see Izuku step out of the old factory, fixing his tie in his most less threatening form. If he remained in his true form, he would get noticed and would cause a lot of problems for him. So he stays in his most less threatening form, as he has a smile on his face. Well, boys, it's been a pleasure. As he shut the door quietly, then put his hands in his pocket and begins to walk off, humming a tune, like he didn't just butcher a bunch of men. He decided to call it a night, but he wanted to inform Penny that they're no longer going to be issue. He caught her when she was locking up. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning now. In the morning. As Penny noticed Izuku approaching her. Is everything alright, Izuku? Everything's just fine. I just got done with the hunters. They'll no longer be an issue for you guys. Me and the hunters came to an understanding. As she raised her eyebrow at Izuku. Fine. They wished to live, and I did not. And I didn't. I'll probably come back in probably a couple days. I hope you have a good night. Or morning. See you around, Penny. Thanks for that. They've been stalking around recently. I had no idea they would openly attack my bar like that. You will always be welcome. Thank you, Penny. I'll see you later. As Izuku walked off to head back to his base of operation, when Izuku finally got back home, he entered his room to see Melina still asleep in his bed. Melina woke up from Izuku entering the room. As Izuku watches Melina stretch and yawn. You're back. Why do you smell like human blood? Oh, I just had a little tussle with the local werewolf hunters in the area. So, how you feeling? Oh, very tired and sore. Why don't you get in bed? You must be tired. I know devils don't require a whole lot of sleep, but you look exhausted. As she taps her hand or slaps her hand on the bed. Well, pretty much tapped the bed with her hand, just for Izuku to get in bed. I'm really too tired to argue with you at the current moment, so sure, scoot over. Izuku noticed Melina getting closer to him, snuggling up to him, against him. Izuku could completely ignore that. He's not. He's done this before with his sister. His sister used to sneak in his room all the time when she was younger, so it's nothing new to him. So as Izuku shut his or closed his eyes and went to sleep, Izuku felt quite comfortable with Melina in the same bed with him. They managed to sleep for 2 days straight. He woke up from a smell of food. It was made. Oh, Melina ah, came in. The came into the room, using the kitchen, making food uh, for for her new master. As Melina put a tray of food towards her basically new master. Here you go, master. Is this human food? Let's see how much they improve over the centuries. As Izuku begins to dig into the pancakes, Melina could tell he really enjoyed it by how he's scarfing them down. You feeling okay to move? I'm at 100%. I'm glad to hear that. Are you up for it? To accompany me? To accompany me. I'm head back to the werewolf den to wait for a possible recruit. Use a drink. Thank you for the food. As he set the tray on the bed, Melina walked over to the closet to get a new suit for her master. As she handed it over to him, as she briefly leaves the room for him to get dressed. A few minutes later, Izuki stepped out of the room into the hallway to see Melina waiting for him. Shall we go? Let's. As Melina linked her arms with Izuku as they step out of the base onto the public street. By the name of this, sir? Is this some sort of werewolf bar? Yes, it is. The bartender's not that bad. For a lichen. The devil and the demon enter the bar as they head up towards the bar table, where Penny is hard at work. The both of them sat down on a bar stool and ordered their drinks. Good to see you again. Here's your scotch and brandy. Here's your scotch and brandy for your female companion. Penny started to clean a glass and started a conversation with Izuku. Before I forget, Dobby hasn't been around yet. He does this occasionally, disappears for about 3 days or 4 at the most. He never stirs away from his routine, so he's definitely going to be here tonight. Thanks, Penny. Don't mention it. I need to get back to work. Just holler if you need anything. So that's the werewolf you're looking for. That's the one Toga mentioned of. Don't know what he looks like, but I know what his name is at least. We might as well, while we're waiting, get a chance to get to know each other a little better, sir. I suppose we can. As Izuku and Melina kept to themselves, as they started talking to each other, trying to get to know each other a little better. Both devil and demon turned around to see someone walk into the bar. Izuku saw a werewolf with piercings all over his face, wearing some sort of black trench coat. Dobby begins to look around and begins to walk towards the devil, devil in the room. So you're the devil that I've heard so much about from Toga. It's easy to figure out who you are by that black horns coming out of your head. Big giveaway. You must be Toga's devil friend. As he sat down between the two of them, slung his arm around Izuku and Melina, sitting in the bar stool. Please remove your hands before I remove them. Mutt. You are scary. Very well. As he takes his arms off of the demon and devil. As he could tell, he completely pissed off the demon. But the devil seems to have didn't seem to mind the interaction. Like he's found it extremely amusing. Like he gets some sort of twisted satisfaction by watching him get threatened. Hey Penny, can I get a beer? Of course. As she slides a beer on the counter towards Dobby, as Dobby catches it with his hands and begins chugging down the beverage. So, good old Toga mentioned you were building a little villain organization. What's your end game in all this? I'm more interested because you're a devil. Nothing too grand, just for my enjoyment. I got bored in hell, and so I came across the idea of being a villain. So I went with it. I'm a devil. I wouldn't have human motives being a villain. And I quite enjoy causing suffering and pain. After all, it's a family trait. I could definitely use a werewolf on my team. So let's get to the bare task of things. What are you after? You must want something. The devil's in the sorry. The devil's in the I can't mess it up. Like the old saying, the devil's in the details. Sure, why not? There's only one person I'm after. The number 2 hero, and making his life a living hell. Let's just say me and him have history, and I figured if I join you lot, I would come across Endeavor at some point. It's a good possibility we will come across Endeavor. I'll leave his torment up to you. As the devil and werewolf shake hands. Excellent. What's next, boss? Head back home. And I should probably get you introduced to the rest of the girls. Don't worry, Dobby. The bear's on me. As Izuku paid for his own drink, including Dobby's and Melina's, as he begins to return back to the mental hospital asylum that Izuku slowly making into a proper base. You might excuse the mess. I'm currently remodeling this whole place, so to make it feel like more like home. Oh good, you're here, boss. I'll leave the new guy to you, Toga. Leave it to me, boss. I'll introduce him to the rest of the team. And I also left some information in your office that you might want to look over. Thank you, Toga. I'll look over it now. As Izuku and Melina went into his office to check out the intel that Toga brought, Several hours later, several hours later after going over all the information that Toga brought. So what did you find on the heroes? Uh, start again. What did you find on the heroes? End of things, Melina. Most of it usually, most of it's useless. Bunch of weaklings until you get to the higher ranking heroes like All Might, Endeavor, Miraka, Ryuku, and Eraserhead, and so on. What about you, Master? I came across a few villains that might pose a challenge down the line. I also came across some information about the League of Villains. I don't know who they are or who runs them. They must have a pretty good organization to remain hidden like this. There's barely any information on them. But only information I get on our leader of this organization. His name is All for One. Outside of that, that's all I got. I can't put my finger on it yet, but that name sounds really familiar, like I've heard it before. What information did you find out about All Might? Not much. A couple of theories about his quirk. What his quirk actually is. But I did notice some of the reports. He's been cutting back on his hero time. It's slowly started to decrease after some fight he had with a villain. I'm still looking into it. By the sound of it, it sounds like this human is just a wounded animal waiting to be put down. He must have got injured in that fight somehow. It must have been a really serious injury if his hero time has been cut down. Let's keep an eye on the number one hero for now. If I deem him a threat, then I'll kill him I'll kill All Might personally. But my main concern is this All for One character. We also need to keep tabs on the hero killer Stain. He might be a possible new recruit, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Melina, position Izuku's head on her lap. She was surprised he didn't give any protest or resist in any way. He just allowed it. You look like you needed a break, sir. That I did. I gotta admit, Melina, this is very relaxing. Thank you. Of course, Master. Anything I could do to relieve the edge off of things, I'm more than willing to do. You saved me from that disgraceful position I was in. And I'm serious what I said. I will always be on your side, no matter what, Master. Not only do I have the most sorry, give me a second, guys. I only hold the most respect for you as a devil, and also respect the fact that you are the son of Lucifer and Lilith. You never once hold over your title over me. Demons normally do that to subjugate the demons that are under their command. But you never once did that. You treated me very nicely since we met. I don't see the point in it. It's useless. It wastes time. But I also enjoy your company. I'm looking forward to working more with you in the future, Melina. Same here, Master. What did you even do before you came back to Earth and Hell? I was just curious. Nothing too glamorous. A lot of paperwork for the crossroad demon agency. I wanted a change in scenery, so I came to Earth, and I kind of got roped in with roped in with the rest of the demons that were in the area. Didn't you mention you were the boss at that agency when you were doing the crossroad demon things? Sorry, maintaining the agency. Considering I was in charge for so long, and the only crossroad agency was the one that I was running, it's a good possibility that you were working with me. I must have missed you or not saw you, because I rarely left my office. I run that agency about a couple hundred years. Like I said, Melina, you probably did work under me. I just never saw you. Like I said prior, I never really left my office outside of training crossroad demons. Then watching them do their first contract. I have another thing to thank you for. I requested several days off to unwind, and you gave me more than I requested, then gave me pay on top of it. I think I remember that. I don't like overworking my demons. It will damage them in the agency in the long run. So you've been to Earth for... Give me a second. So you've been on Earth for a while. What's the situation with the humans, with the different hunter families out there? There is a heavy presence of hunters in Japan. There are two big groups currently. On one side are the vampire hunters, and the other are the werewolf hunters. Vampire hunters hunt down any vampire that break any of the laws that were set in place by the vampire queen. And something similar was set in place for the werewolves. I really don't have much detail on it. But there's one pack not too fond of the arrangement, so he's been stirring the pot. And I have a feeling the hunters that attacked the bar you told me about was probably a rogue faction. Thank you for the information, Melina. It's definitely going to be useful. I need to get back to work. As relaxing as this is, there is no rest for the wicked. I'm going to head into the city and do my own investigation. I'll come with you, Master. Like that very much. Shall we? As Izuku got up from Melina's lap, as they both headed out of the office, they made their way outside of the base into the city street. They immediately started to walk off to their to their own, to do their investigation in this, between the vampire hunters and the werewolf hunters in the city. Hold up, Melina. Now that's a strange sight, wouldn't you agree? As Izuku and Melina watch a bunch of hooded humans come out of a van carrying an unconscious woman that's wearing some sort of prison uniform that's handcuffed, and by the look of her condition, she clearly tried to fight them off, but ultimately got overwhelmed and captured. As they head into the abandoned church, the humans. Now these humans look like they're up to no good. Let's go. Let's go see a gander at this. I'm interested in what they're after. Behind you, Master. You know you could call me by Izuku, right? I could never do such a thing, Master. You're the son of Lucifer. That would be disrespectful. Izuku sigh and continue to cross the street into the church, giving up for now. Once Izuku stepped into the sorry, the most try it again. As Izuku stepped into the church, the moment he entered the threshold of the church, the statue of Virgin Mary started to cry blood from the eyes, alongside with the statue of the crucified Jesus in the church. As he watches the man but the human woman, he believes it's a human, but he's not totally sure. Put the woman on the altar and rip a bit of her shirt open so they could paint a pentagram on the upper part of her chest. As they begin chanting, holding on to a ritual dagger, ready to stab the woman in the heart, as the ritual dagger gets yanked out of his hand, as Izuku catches it in his right hand, examining the blade. Nice knife, humans. Look at this. This looks like original. I'll give you points for effort, humans. But human sacrifices? Seriously? At this time of age? Or this I believe it's time of age, but anyways, I don't know where you Satanists get this idea that we approve of sacrifices nowadays. We outlaw such brutal practices in hell ages ago. Fucking fangirls. The Satanists are taking offense of it because they're all guys, and he's just basically calling them fangirls. I'll take it from here, Master. Allow me to dirty my hands for you. You're above such trash. Very well, Melina. As he walks walk past the Satanist, and walks towards unconscious woman, as the slaughter begins, Melina begins to slaughter the human Satanist. Izuku gently broke the handcuffs on the woman's wrist to make sure that he didn't hurt her in any way, then took off his jacket and put it over the woman. As he picked her up in his arms and walked out of the church with his demon companion, when she got done slaughtering everyone, and head back to the base and put the woman in his room. Take care of her, Melina. I need to talk to Toga. Of course, Master. Zuko walked away from his room to find Toga in her usual spot, as he found her in one of the rooms that they frequently use for meetings. Oh, hi, boss. I saw you bringing in a woman earlier. Is she a new recruit? I won't know until I talk to her. She's not currently conscious right now. I found her at a church being sacrificed by a bunch of human Satanists of all things. So, how things on how things are how things are on your end, Toga? We're slowly setting up informants all over the city. Excellent job, Toga. As he ruffles her hair. How's Dobby fitting in? As Toga's enjoying her head pats, she only allow Izuku to do that to her. Normally, she would have killed killed anyone that dare try to do that to her. You don't have to worry about him, boss. He's getting along fairly well with the other demons. I saw him hitting on a couple of them earlier. Don't worry. He's a gentle one. He has a good heart. Bit of a flirt, but in the long run, he's a good wolf. As he removed his hand from Toga's head, on top of Toga's, or removed his hand from head petting her, we need to make our first move. Already, sir? Nothing too major. We just need to take out a decent-sized villain group. With the information you got from your mother, I found a perfect group to make a grand entrance in the underworld. It's a decent-sized villain group. Not as deeply funded as the League of Villains, apparently. A group like that has some sort of funding. Not sure where or who, but they're clearly being funded by their activities, according to what information I got from what information your mother handed us to what information your mother handed us. I want you to get Dobby. We're going on a villain hunting. Meet me in front of the base door in 30. Got it, boss. As she saluted him. Sounds like fun. As she begins skipping away. Didn't take Toga very long to get Dobby and meet their boss. It took them about 2 minutes as they finally showed up basically after 2 minutes they showed up. Dobby and Toga show up and ready for action. I heard you're going to cause a bit of trouble with the group of villains. Sounds like my type of fun. I'm going to give you a rundown on these villains that we'll be targeting. They operate in the docks. They mostly deal in human trafficking, and I'm putting a stop to that. I can't ignore that sort of activity so close to our base of operation. And personally, I despise scum like that. I might be a devil, but even I have my own morals that I won't cross. So, this is a kill order. Don't leave anyone alive. And make sure to save the innocent humans. So we're basically doing the hero's job. Pretty much, and heroes don't patrol out here for some reason. And they're in my territory. So it's my responsibility to get rid of them. I'm going to remove them from my city. So let's go remove this insect. Sure, why not? You're a very interesting type of villain. I am more of an anti-villain, if you want to label me something. Let's go. As we time skip until they got to the harbor, as the werewolf, vampire, and devil stealthily entered the harbor to see a group of villains shoving people in metal containers at the docks. You know, those big crate things? I don't know what they're called. I think they're called trailers or something. I don't remember what the name of them are. But you know the big ass metal containers that they ship they put on ships to transfer, goods and shit. That's what I'm basically trying to say. Locate all of the human civilians once we dealt with the villains. Got it, boss. Dobby, fry them. And Toga, have fun. The moment she heard that, coming from her leader, she had a very twisted smile on her face. As she was the first one to act, start running towards the villains and killing them and draining them of their blood, then chopping their head off afterwards when she had her fill. Izuku watches Toga handiwork as Dobby, as Dobby's doing his own thing, watching Dobby frying the villains with his blue fire. But he noticed his body is getting damaged while he's using his quirk, but his body is rapidly repairing whatever damage he's getting. Izuku figured out pretty fast that the reason why his body is getting damaged is because of his quirk, but because of his but because of the natural ability of a werewolf, regeneration, it really doesn't really matter to him. He could keep using it until he gets a good handle on it, so it doesn't hurt his body. But yeah, he just heals from it, so he won't have Dobby won't be having the scars in this. Izuku decided to get into the action by ripping off the head of the first human he saw near him. As he flung a whole group of villains in the air, as they kept flying with his telekinesis floating in the air about 50 or 60 feet above ground, as they fall to their deaths, only leaving a splat on the pavement. Toga, bring me the leader of this group of worms. The boss, as she ducks under a fist, as she stabs the villain in the face, killing him. As she slit another villain's throat, and finally pinpoint where the leader is, and forcefully grab the leader of this little group of villains. After all, he's the one in the back yelling out orders, so she figured that was the leader. With her vampire speed and strength, she pinned the guy right in front of Izuku. You saw the corner of his eye. Dobby is now releasing all the civilians. He knows everyone's dead except for the leader. Now, what am I going to do with you, human? With one snap of his finger, the human villain burst into green fire. As he was killed instantly, he didn't even have time to. He was killed so fast that he couldn't even scream. After this fire recedes, there's nothing but a skeleton wearing his clothes. He had full control over his fire. He could burn someone while they're wearing clothes. That's how much control he has over his hellfire. His hellfire is it's just a unique color than most devils. As we cut back to hell, as you see Lilith and Lucifer on their bed cuddling, watching the mirror, as they've been the mirror has the image of Izuku burning the human alive. I haven't seen our boy use hellfire in ages. It's been far too long since he uses pretty fire. I wasn't sure about this at first, when you told me, dear. Our son seems to be enjoying himself. I knew it was only a matter of time before the sleeping dragon awakens. I feel pity for the ones who go against him or get in his way. Most demons and devils forget that our son is quite brutal when he wants to be. He might put up a friendly facade, but if you cross him, he won't hesitate to strike you down. I love my little monster. It makes me extremely proud seeing our boy strike out on his own. I do as well, wife. You know it's only a matter of time before the angels take notice. We might have to intervene if it gets to that point, dear. You go ruining the moment again. I suppose you're right, my dear. We'll just wait and see what happens. Now hush. Let's watch our son. That's where we're going to cut it. Hope you guys have a good night today. Judge my time zone, and I'll catch you in the next video.